Anyway, speaking of mega criminal things, I saw the worst short known to man. It's actually not the worst short known to man, but I just saw like complete misinformation on the timeline. Let me see if I can find it. Here's the
Jinx
short.
has an entire item.
I feel like there's this weird content creation coaching thing now where when you play solo queue, people have this mentality where yes, you're the only person that you're responsible for, but that you should also blame yourself for everything that happens in the game. That like anything that happens in the game, you have to have some takeaway that is like, oh, well then I should do this differently. Like you should always do something differently based off things that happen in the game. And I completely disagree with this mindset. For context, like I'm somebody who's played solo queue for years. I grinded solo queue for a long period of time of my life. I've probably played 40,000 hours of solo queue legitimately, maybe more. That's a conservative estimate. And I've been somebody who even last year when I wasn't playing the game that much, I was still able to hit challenger because I think I have good fundamentals towards climbing, like understanding what you need to do to climb. And I think part of climbing in League of Legends is just understanding that you will lose games, right? And to not take irrational conclusions away from things that happen. So watch this clip and we'll talk
Jinx
about it.
has an entire item in base.
So this guy is challenger apparently.
She spam pings people to back off, takes a recall to get her item. Meanwhile, her entire team dies and enemy team ends the game. What is the mistake? Is it just unlucky team and go next? Blame the team, learn nothing and queue up? No, actually the entire fault lies on Jinx and the mistake goes.
Like this is a crazy statement that the entire fault lies on Jinx. So if you base for a completed item where there's not an objective that they're playing for, if you base and your team has to, like, there's a soul fight or something, and you're not there on a soul fight as an AD carry, that's fucking bad, right? Like, then your teammates will probably just fight it anyway. If there's a Baron situation where you're not there, that's something where you could say, oh, this is something that I needed to do differently. I need to base ahead of the objectives. But if you're in a situation where you have a big completed item, like an armor pen item or IE or whatever it is as an AD carry, you have a big item and you spam ping your team to not fight and you go back and you base and the enemy and your team just goes and runs it down 4v5 into the enemy mid tier 1 turret. You do not say, oh, this is entirely my fault. Like that is such a ridiculous statement. What he's saying is essentially that what these guys did wasn't even 1% their fault. Running it down mid is somehow not even a mistake. It is entirely the Jinx's fault.
It's back almost a minute. So let's go back and see. Here we see Lilia and Aatrox, they die.
I'm not sure what time it is in the game, obviously, because people like farm at different rates. I assume that Baron's up. You got somebody level 18 in the game. Baron's already been taken. Drake is already down. There's not anything to fight for right here. If you look at the map, there's no reason why you are forced in this situation to need to be with your team at all points.
Now Jinx's #1 job to keep in mind is to run out of spawn at the latest when Ahri is spawning. So that means when Ahri's death timer has 8 seconds left, that is the last call for Jinx to press recall. And why is that? It's because tempo is more important than you. Jinx has an entire...
I don't even understand why that would be necessarily the thing. Like, sure, I get that you want to be with your team, but there doesn't seem to be any... You don't need to base exactly at the same millisecond as your teammates in order to be in the next fight. If you're in a situation where you're winning a game like this, you have an item that's going to win you the game, which is normally like an LDR will make you, or a Mortal Reminder is going to make you exponentially more strong because of the fact of like how your champion works, like how crit works, you know, the whole system. All these items are mega spikes. It's not like, oh, I'm just like a fraction stronger. So, I mean, it's just such a ridiculous mindset to go into solo queue and then try to blame yourself for everything that happens in the game and be like, I need to learn something from every situation that happens. Like, bro, it's just the game. Sometimes there's things you should learn from. Sometimes there's things where that you shouldn't learn from. Sometimes your teams run it the down. Sometimes you run it the down. You know, you should go back. You should analyze your mistakes. And you should try to be honest with what the mistake is when you're watching the replay, as opposed to like try to derive some conclusion yourself from everything that happens. Like it's solo queue. You're going to play a lot of games over time. There's not meaning in every single moment that happens within the game. And I think this is a big trap that solo queue players fall into when they're low rank and they're trying to climb. They will always try to come to a new conclusion based off everything that happens. So I just think that this is a ridiculous statement.
Team ends the game. What is the mistake? Is it just...
What is the mistake? Is it them running it down mid? What is the more egregious mistake? Everyone running it down mid or Jinx not being with them at this timer? Let me just give you guys like a newsflash. It is always worse to run it directly down mid than to be off tempo. Like always, unless it's a situation where your team could end the game or something and you just base and then you can't end the game. But in any context like this, any circumstance like this, it is always worse to run it down mid and lose the whole game as 4 people when your AD carry is not there than to just not be with your team and buy a completed item. Always. Like that's just how the fucking game works, bro. Like, and what's so crazy is that when people view things like this, what would you say on the other side? Would you then be coaching somebody and then have like this Jarvan who runs it down mid, right?
And go next, blame the team, learn nothing and queue up? No, actually the entire fault lies on Jinx. And
like, okay, so would you then say that
the mistake goes back on
this Alistar running into the whole enemy team 3v5? Would you say that this is just not a mistake then? Like if you're coaching somebody and they just are doing this in front of your eyes, you wouldn't say, hey bro, your Jinx isn't with you. You shouldn't fight this. You should wait. You wouldn't say any of this. You would literally just say, yeah, the entire fault lies on the Jinx who just based. Yeah, he just didn't care about tempo. Jinx's fault, move on, go next. It's actually so ridiculous to view the game like this. So I really hate seeing things like this because I feel like people try to take away value from this. And there's going to be people that believe this type of stuff where they're like, yeah, man, I get it. Okay. Like this is all my fault. Like, bro, I mean, it's fucking nice to play jungle then. I'll be honest. If I did this shit in solo queue, if I queued up in any respectable game with like GM challenger players and I engaged 4v5 under the enemy turret, they would call me slurs instantly. And I wouldn't even blame them for it. Like I would get instantly flamed. People would flame the fuck out of me. Like my whole life would be flamed if I did shit like this. This is a ridiculous thing to do. The idea that you could play jungle and play like this and you're going to climb and it's like, this is never going to be your fault. It's just ridiculous. So yeah. Anyways, I saw this. I saw it actually on TikTok, but whatever. Same thing. On my shorts page. So there, I went to find it and I wanted to really try to counteract information like this within the community because I feel like it's really damaging to the player base that's trying to learn the game.